Welcome, DallasCowboys.com. Going down 21 points going into the half, what was your message to the guys that galvanized them to go out in the second half and achieve what they did on all three phases?
Yeah, Patrick, it's what we've talked about from the beginning. You know, you've heard me say it 1,000 times. You can't win the game in the first quarter, second, third, but you win the game in the fourth quarter, man. And we just talked about that. We shot ourselves in the foot. I told them that. But I told them believe. You know, believe in each other, believe in the fact we're going to find a way to do it. And I really think today really epitomized a lot of things that those guys have been believing and doing. And it was great to get that win against a damn good football team.
What you saw from George Pickens out there, it's another 100-yard game for him with the touchdown, but also the critical chunk play as you guys went down on that eventual game-winning drive. Just talk about his consistency and his drive and playing.
Yeah, I mean, you know, GP's an incredible player. CD's an incredible player. Javonte played great. You know, George doesn't surprise me at all, you know. And the beautiful thing is, you know, those two guys aren't nearly as good without each other. I mean, that's real, you know, because you can cloud coverages, and they were trying to do certain things to take those guys away, and that's why you need more than one. And but again, he just continues to step up and do a heck of a job. And, you know, the sudden change, you know, pass to him was awesome, and just really proud of him.
Ed Werder, WFAA. Defense has been justifiably maligned much of the season, but today it seemed like winning started with them going 8 consecutive possessions without allowing a point.
Yeah, incredible, right? I think, you know, you look at the run stats, Ed, I'll start there. I mean, what we were able to do to Saquon, who is arguably the best back in the league, and I think he had 10 for 22 or something like that. But, you know, they just kept playing, man, and, you know, didn't have great pass rush today. I felt that, you know, it looked like Jalen was back there quite a bit, but man, the tackling I thought was really, really good. We did a really good job on third down, and I mean, they're the ones that kind of jump-started us, you know, and we were, of course, able to get the touchdown right at the end of the first half. That was big to cut it to 21-7 and give us a little bit of momentum. But, you know, it's two weeks in a row they've played really, really well, and you can see the confidence in that entire group.
The Illinois punt block attempt that led to a penalty, he seemed right away to be suggesting that he made contact with the ball. Did you consider throwing a challenge for him?
He did. We talked about it, but when we looked at the video, we just didn't feel like it was conclusive. And even if he says he hit it, which he probably did, if they're not going to see it, or if we can't see it, they're probably not going to see it either. So that's why we decided not to challenge it.
Can you challenge it because it was a penalty you were challenging?
Yeah. Yeah.
Blandino says you would have prevailed.
Say again?
Blandino says you would have been the penalty would have been overturned.
Oh, really?
There was video evidence in there.
Okay. Yeah. No, we talked about it. You know, me and Feeder were talking about it, and we couldn't get a good look at it, you know, and Flo was adamant about it. And we listen to our players. I trust those guys completely, but again, they have to look at it. And so, again, sounds like we should have challenged it. But again, just part of the game, you know, and then again, we get the one and they called a 5-yard penalty. So, you know, they get the roughing and we get the 5-yard run into, you know.
Yeah.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Fox has said that on an enhanced replay they did see the tip, but it was too late because it was like a play later that ran.
Yeah, that they saw it. Yeah, that's what Ed and I were just talking about. Yeah.
Is that the loudest, more emotional locker room you've had this year?
Yeah, you know, I think again, you know, we're that victory shows us what we've been preaching about. You know, you can be down 21-0 and you just keep playing, and then it's 21-7, and you go into halftime, you make some adjustments, and the next thing you know, it's 21-14. You keep playing, you know, and then you know we had a chance to put them away there. I liked the call on fourth down. I felt really good about the call. I wanted to score the touchdown. Felt really good about it. They made a play and got good rush on Dak, so we didn't get in. But how about our defense, man? They just stepped up, gave us the ball back, and you know I think the big pass to George was huge right there.
Did you think on that sequence, because you ran on, I think, on first down, and you think about running maybe again on second down, considering how well you have been running?
I did. But you know me, I kind of call plays for players, and when you got the guys we got on the outside, and you know, but looking at it, they played a little bit of a coverage that surprised me. But yeah, again, sometimes you call good plays, sometimes you don't. And Javonte was running hard today.
Matt.
Mac Engel, Fort Worth touchdown. Following up on what Calvin asked about your decision to go for it on fourth down, it's your call. When it doesn't work out the way you want, do you have any sense of, as it all, when it does work out ultimately at the end, that they kind of bailed you out a little bit, that you don't have to worry about the decision biting you in the ass at all?
Yeah, not really. I mean, look, it's part of sitting in this chair. You make decisions, and, we make decisions, in 10, 15, 20 seconds. You don't have 5 minutes to talk about it. And when you sign up to sit in this chair and be the play caller, and you have to make those calls. And again, did the defense bail me out? Yeah. And sometimes that's a good thing for a coach. But I'm comfortable. I'd do it again. I mean, I would do it again. I would totally go for it again. Because, again, I mean, this team has shown, their team, they've shown if you get a field goal, their kicker's got a big leg. They've got weapons, and, they've shown the ability. If you, let's say you start them at the 35-yard line, they need 10, 20 yards to get in the field goal range. So I thought we had some momentum, and I wanted to capitalize on it.
Follow up on, we've got a game in 3 or 4 days. Do you feel like you have enough time?
Always. We'll get these guys healthy. You probably heard the emotion of the group. They're really excited about the next step, and we'll enjoy this one till midnight tonight, and then we'll start getting ready for Kansas City.
John. Brian Todd Archer with ESPN, and I apologize if you were asked this, but 21-0, what's going through your mind?
Just keep playing. I told them, and that's fine, I'll answer it for you again because you're my friend. If you weren't my friend, I wouldn't answer it again. But, the drive at the end of the first half was big, 21-7, gave us some momentum. I thought the defense, after those first couple drives, just were playing lights out. But we've talked about this, Todd. We've said you can't win the game in the first, second, or third. You win the game in the fourth, and that's what we proved tonight. You just keep playing. And it's what teams need to grow. It's what teams, because now the next time that happens, which it's going to happen again, you draw from this experience of finding a way to come back, battle back. We did not play well offensively. The ball security was terrible in the first half, and but we righted the ship, and we went out there and found a way to win.
Was there a moment where you thought, okay, we're in this?
Yeah. Well, no, I felt like we were in this whole time. I mean, you see how fast we can score. I mean, we can score really fast. But, yeah, I think the drive at the end of the first half was huge, and the touchdown to GP kind of jump-started us. But as long as there's time and downs, I always feel like you have a chance.
Claire.
A couple of things. Asked you earlier in the week about beating a team with a winning record. You did that today. Just tell me how important that is and the confidence boost you get from beating a team like the Eagles, defending Super Bowl champs, certainly had the best record in the league.
Yeah, it's important. Clarence, I think, we knew they were a good team. That's a really good football team. The defense has got, Vic Fangio is one of the best, D coordinators in the league. Nick is obviously an incredible head coach. Their offense, I thought they got A.J. Brown involved tonight. I was very proud of how we took away Saquon Barkley. That's really 2 weeks in a row that teams have not even tried to run the ball on us. But in terms of winning, you take all the wins you get, right? They all count the same. But it's the style that we did it today, I think, that is the most important to me, because we did it without playing very well in the first 30 minutes of the game. And we just kept playing, and nobody pointed fingers, and nobody had their dauber down, and you just kind of kept going. And momentum swings in this league are powerful. And I think you witnessed that tonight.
I didn't introduce myself, Clarence Hill, DLLS Cowboys.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, I know it's important.
Dak, now everybody knows.
Dak surpassed Tony Romo for all-time leader in passing yards. He also passed him, I think, in comeback wins. To do it in a game like this, what does that say about Dak, and how much does his poise allow y'all to come back?
Yeah, he's one of a kind, man. He really is. Just his leadership, his poise, the way he plays the game, the way he always believes. You talk about when some of your best players are the guys that believe the most, and they know that they're going to find a way and help raise the other guys to raise the standard. And we've got a lot of guys like that now. But I know he won't say it, but that's a pretty cool record that he broke, and to do it on a game like this where we beat a really good football team the way we did, I'm sure makes it even sweeter.
Mickey? You have anything, Mickey?
No, I was good.
No? Good. Ellen?
Elwin Henderson, Gilmer Mirror. Certainly, Brian, you've still got a lot of playing left to do this season, but you've got 2 games now that you've won in a row. You feel like you've gotten back into the playoff race. that makes this Thursday game against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs even that much more important now.
Yeah. Who we playing? Yeah, I'm going to enjoy this one. But yeah, I mean, the Chiefs are an incredible team. I mean, you look at what they've done, and I have firsthand knowledge of the organization, and they're terrific. I didn't see the score of their game. I don't know if they ended up winning or not. They won in overtime. But we're going to enjoy this one tonight. And, again, you know me. I take them one game at a time, man. And it's going to be a great atmosphere, and I love being back here with our fans. I thought our fans were great tonight. I really did. I thought they were awesome. And they could have gotten a little bit restless in the beginning, but they stuck with us, man. And our guys drew a lot of strength from that. They really did.
Coach Michelle Myers from WFA. Marvin Overshown obviously wasn't available in the first meeting between you and the Eagles. How much did you feel like he made an impact in this one, especially when it came to Jalen Hurts' ability to scramble?
Yeah, there was one play actually that I remember seeing Jalen kind of take off towards our bench, and you saw a flash come from the middle of the field, and what looked like was going to be a 10 or 12-yard gain, I think ended up being a 2 or 3-yard gain. But, that's the way Demo plays. I mean, whether he's chasing, Jalen Hurts, or whether he's rushing the passer, or he's in coverage, he just plays the game the right way. He plays with that attacking play style that we talk about, and it's so good to have him back, and just, he plays the game with the joy that we talk about. We want to be free and fly around and play the games. We get to play a kid's game in front of the world, and that's so amazing, and I think Demo epitomizes that.
CeeDee's obviously a great player, proven over time, but he's had 2 bad outings against the Eagles where he's dropped a lot of balls. How does he respond to that, and what are your interactions with him like in a situation like that?
Yeah, again, we've talked about CeeDee. Man, CeeDee's an incredible player. He's not a good player. CeeDee's oh, you did? Okay, yeah, he's an incredible player. Again, I think the biggest thing for C is to know we love him, we trust him. I mean, the ball's going to keep coming his way, and again, the big go ball that he caught down the field was incredible. We thought we had the free play down there, but there's some weeks that you have great games, and other weeks where you're like, hey man, I didn't play as good as I can play, but. Again, when we start drawing up plays for Kansas City, I'll give them a little heads up. There'll be a lot of them going to 88.
Were you planning to use Savon Revel that much, or was it because you lost Kalen Carson?
Yeah, he was on a pitch count that got kind of moved a little bit just because of Kalen, and he was cramping and some things like that. But again, he wasn't gonna. He wanted to play, and so that was great.
Coach Sydney Staples, D210 Sports. Can you have a favorite moment out of a game like this?
Yeah, probably Brandon Aubrey kicking the game-winning field goal and the game being over, and being like, oh, okay, we just found a way to win that game. That was pretty sweet. And then for me, I love walking in the locker room and hearing the music and the guys dancing. And, it was great because I don't know if you guys have seen it, but they had the Marshawn Kneeland flag up there in the locker room, and they were dancing, holding it. And he's always going to be with us, and we drew strength from him like we always do. And I think Osei had a death grip on it, and they took turns passing around. So.
When you have said before, you win football games in the fourth quarter, is that a philosophy of yours that you have no matter what, or you adopt that when you're not playing so well and you have to turn it on?
No, it's actually, I learned it from Pete Carroll. He always preached that, and I think that's why we were so good at comeback victories. And when you talk about Russell Wilson back then, you talk about his ability to lead the team back, and that was something I learned from Pete that I really just kind of bought into. But no, it's every game. Whether we're up 21-0, it's long from over, and so it's fun to hear those guys kind of talk about it, and that's when kind of that they're figuring it out, because the NFL is the NFL, man. Like, it's the best in the world, and it's parity, and it was a fun game.
Matt.
When I asked you about enough time, I didn't do a good job phrasing it. I meant in terms of time left in the season to do what you want, because I'm looking at the standings, and there's a lot of teams ahead of you.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you caught up in that. I feel like you got enough time in the games left to do what you want to do.
Yeah, again, we've put ourselves in this position. I look back on certain games, I'm like, man, But, again, you can't focus on that. You got to focus on the fact you're getting ready to play. We just beat the defending Super Bowl champions tonight. We're getting ready to play the team that they played, and you just go out and you take each championship opportunity as its own, and when it's all said and done after 17 games, we're going to either be in the playoffs or we're not. But if we keep playing the way we're playing right now, I like our chances. A lot of these teams play each other. We play a lot of the teams that are ahead of us, and we'll see how it goes.
Brian, on the fourth down decision to go for it there, how much conversations back and forth with Ryan in that some situation, or how much is that you blocking that out and say, I'm doing this?
No, I talk to Ryan about everything. We yell at each other sometimes. It's kind of fun, I yelled at him on a couple of times tonight, but he's very calm. But no, that was the plan all along. And again, this is the second question you've asked me that you missed. But you're still my friend, so I'll still answer it. But no, I think, I was going for that no matter what. And I liked the call, and they made a really good play. I think Nolan Smith edged us on a game or something, and so Dak didn't have as much time as we thought.
More about the decision making, not the outcome.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, I said I would do it again. I said I would go for it again on fourth down. Because again, look, if they stop us, which they did, they get the ball on the 2-yard line, and then they made a first down or two, but then we got the big stop, we get the ball back.
Repeat questions. Did you think about throwing a challenge flag on the block punt?
You're not my friend, so I'm not answering that. We talked about it, but we didn't get the great view that Dean Blandino obviously had late. So we looked at it. We talked about Flo said he said I hit it, and when Feeds and I talked about it, he goes, I don't think it's clear that they're going to turn it over. So we made the decision, and sounds like that they have evidence that he did touch it. So kudos to Flo for making that play, and the worst thing Flo could have done was lie. So he didn't lie, and I trust him.
All righty.
Thanks, guys.